Oh my gosh, it's almost 11 o'clock. I feel like such an old guy. I'm getting to stay up late. Oh, it's like 2 hours past my bedtime. I should be in bed. And yet, I'm here working with you all students. Dedication to my job. My name is Mr. Key, and you're here to learn about sum and product of the roots. Oh yeah, multiplying and adding the roots. So first of all, we need to figure out a standard equation. By the way, kids, when you see the word equation, it usually has an equal sign in it. So standard form of a quadratic equation is, and this should come as no surprise, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Sort of like some of my homework students, kids that love to do no homework. Like to call them zeros. Anyway, again, I want to remind you that when I'm talking about A and I'm talking about B and I'm talking about C, I'm talking about the number, not X, okay? So today we're going to learn about the sum and product of the roots. Let me give you a typical example. Let me show you something. Let's say I was to take the quadratic x squared plus 4x minus 32 and equals 0. And I factored it. And the factoring here is really simple. It's x plus 8 and x minus 4. And so my two roots are x equals negative 8 and x equals positive 4. So if I took root 1 and I added root 2, or I just added the two roots together, I would end up with negative 4. And if I took root 1 and I multiplied by root 2, I would get negative 32. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about the sum and product of the roots. Now, sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it's not as easy as what I just did there. So let me give you a little bit of fun. Well, let's just work. So I'm going to give you two formulas to work from. So in this case, we're talking about root 1 plus root 2. And that would be equal to negative b over a. Or another way to say it is the sum is equal to negative b over a. Now, what do I mean by negative b? I mean the value of the number. I mean the number that's in front of the x. A is the number out in front. Product of the roots, or root 1 times root 2, is equal to c over a. Or another word to write it, the product, the product of the roots is equal to c over a. And I'll use these interchangeably. So anyway, let's get started. In order to do these first couple, I'm actually going to talk to you about what a is. In this case, a is equal to 1. B is equal to 3, and C is equal to 5. So if I wanted the sum of the roots, I know my formula is negative b over a, so that would be negative 3 over 1, which is really just equal to negative 3. If I wanted the product of the roots, I would remember that the formula is c over a, or 5 over 1, which is just equal to negative 5. Now, had I not known these formulas, I would have tried to factor this. This is not factorable because there's nothing that multiplies to 3 that adds up to 5, so I'd have to use the quadratic formula, get some crazy answers, and then multiply them. Not so easy. All right, so let me get a new color. A is equal to 3, b is equal to -2, and c is equal to 12. So I'm going to just kind of abbreviate here. Sum is equal to -b over a, which is equal to +2 over a, which is 3. This is b. I want -b. Product is equal to c over a. In this case, it's 12 over 3, which is equal to 4. These boxes are just a wee bit too tiny for me. Let me try to blow this up a little bit. No, I'm not talking about blowing anything up. Oh, man. I'm supposed to be able to. Oh, wow, that's Oh, I can do that. Oh, I love this new tablet. And I can do this too, I think. Doesn't like my 2 fingers. Whatever. As long as I can do this. Oh, I lost it. Why can't I do that before? Anyway. All right, so let me start writing. So anyway, we have to get our quadratic in standard form. So it's 4x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0, because these two things had to go to the other side. Now I can write down what a equals 4, what b equals -3, and what c equals -4. And I remember that the formulas are sum is equal to -b over a, or in other words, +3 over 4. Ka-ching! Done. By the way, have you hit the subscribe button down below? I woke you up, didn't I? Yeah? Did you hit the like button? Comment. Say, yo, Krause man, you rock it. Somebody called me the goat man the other day. I thought they were making fun of me. They weren't. They were saying I'm the greatest of all time. Clearly, they're delusional. But whatever. C over A, in this case, is -4 over +4, which is equal to -1. Ka-ching. Product sum. Done. All right, I'm too blown up for this. Okay, so in this particular case, we're looking for Juan. Juan says that the sum is -3 and the product is -9. So I need to take a look at my answers over here. And I'm going to take a look at this one. And I'm just going to say, okay, the sum is equal to -b, -3, over a, which is 1. Well, that's -3, so that works. The product is equal to c over a, which is equal to 9 over 1. But that equals 9. That doesn't work. So we can't count that one. We'll get rid of that one. Now let's try 2. The sum is equal to negative. See, notice b is -12, so I'm going to do +12 over a, which is 1, and that's 12. Well, I want -3, so that doesn't work. Let's try c. C, the sum is equal to -b, so that would be -6 over a, which is 2, and that equals -3, so that works. And the product is equal to c over a, which is equal to what was that? Oh, -18 over 2, which is equal to -9. So my product was in fact -9, and my sum for this one was in fact -3, so there's the answer, choice C. All right. All I asked for, if the sum of the roots of this is added to the product of roots, what's the result? So basically it's saying you got to find the sum and the product. So sum is equal to -b, -3, over a, which is 1, so this is equal to -3. And the product of the roots is equal to c over a, -5 over 1, which is equal to -5. So it's saying if the sum is added to the product. So all it says is add these. Oh, okay. I'll add those and I get -8. Done. Bodied. I'm so old. I'm not really that old. All right, so this we're going to start working back. I'm only going to do, what am I going to do? 2 pages of stuff here? Oh, this is not bad at all. So what I want to do is I want to write a quadratic equation. That means when you're done, you have to have something that says equal to. So write a quadratic equation where the sum is -5 and the product is, not tis, is 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, I need my sum to be equal to -5. I need my product to be equal to 6. So what we do is we go back to our two formulas. Sum is equal to -b over a. Product is equal to c over a. And we just make an assumption. Assume a equals 1. Maybe it's not, assume isn't the right word. Maybe we're just going to let. Maybe it's just we're going to say let a equal 1. We're going to write a quadratic where a is equal to 1. And now we're going to use these formulas. We know that the sum is -5, and we also know that a is equal to 1. So -5 is equal to -b over 1. Well, isn't -b over 1 really just -b? So this thing turns into -5 is equal to -b. Divide both sides by -1, I get b equals 5. So now I have a, because we said it was 1. Now I have b, we said now it's 5. And now we're going to find c. Well, we know that the product of the roots is 6. So we're going to say 6 is equal to c over a, but we made a 1. So c over 1 is just c. So 6 is equal to c. So now I have all that I need, but I'm not done. You have to write the equation. I can't tell you how many kids in the past have just found them, but not done the right thing. They haven't written the equation. It's x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Done. All right, write a quadratic so the sum of the roots is -4 and the product of the roots is 45. So sum is equal to -4 and product is equal to -45. We're going to let a equal 1. So sum -4 is equal to the product, or the sum of the roots is -b over a. A is 1. So you end up with -4 is equal to -b, so b equals 4. Now I have b, and I have a. Now I need to find c. Product of the roots is -45, and that's equal to c over a. Or, in other words, we know a is 1, so -45 is equal to c. Remember, what I'm not showing over here is that I'm dividing by -1 and dividing by -1. But you should know that if -b equals 4, positive b equals negative, is equal. If -b equals -4, then b equals +4. That should be obvious. So now I have a, now I have b, and now I have c, and I'm good to go. But I got to write my answer. So my answer is a is 1, so that's 1x squared, or just x squared, minus, we came up with b was plus 4x minus 45 equals 0. Now I could check that. I mean, let me just take my eraser out. Let me get rid of some of my work. If I factored this thing, I believe this thing factors pretty nicely. If I factored this thing, I would get x plus 9 x minus 5. Would you agree? These multiply to -45 and add up to +4. So my two roots are x equals -9 and x equals +5. Well, let's add them up. What is root 1 plus root 2? Add them up, you get -9 plus 5 That's negative 4. Ka-ching! Multiplying. Negative 9 times 5 is negative 45, and it works. All right. We're almost done. 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, only 4 more questions. Okay, so here's another kind of a root question. If x equals 12 is one of the roots, what is the value of k? Well, one of the things you got to remember about roots is when I plug them in for x, I should get 0 out. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put parentheses, minus k times parentheses minus 36, and I need that to equal 0. In those parentheses is going to go 12, 12, and 12. So this is 144 minus 12k minus 36 equals 0. Remember, because roots are what makes it equal to 0. So this is what? 108 minus 12k equals 0. 108 equals 12k. Divide by 12, and I get, was that 10? No. 9. Done. X equals negative 7 is one of the roots. What's the value of k? So we're going to plug it in. But everywhere you see an x, put parentheses, Patrice. Oh my God, Patrice is back out. Don't make any mistakes, Patrice. Oh my gosh, Miss Newman, she's crazy. She'll get you. She'll call you Patrice the whole year long. That's what she ought to do. Pick on somebody that hasn't put parentheses and call him Patrice all day long. Because we put parentheses when we plug in negative 7. All right, so this is 49. Now this is negative times negative, so that's positive 7k. Don't make that silly mistake. Minus 28 equals 0. And 49 minus 28 is 21 plus 7k equals 0. We'll move the 21 over. So I get 7k equals negative 21, or k equals negative 3. Almost done, kids. Oh, so some of you don't believe me. Maybe you're like, oh, I wonder if there's a way that I can prove that works. So we said k was negative 3, right? So we do x squared minus negative 3x minus 28 equals 0. So this is really x squared plus 3x minus 28 equals 0. So I go cha-ching, 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 cha-ching equals 0. X plus 7, x minus 4. These multiply to negative 28 and add up to positive 3. And then clearly this will give me a root of negative 7. This will give me a root of positive 4. All right, almost done. 2 left. 11 is a root. I'm going to plug it in. So parentheses, Patrice. I'm annoying myself with that. So 11. So I get 121 minus, oh my gosh, what's 13 times 11? 11 times 11 is 121. Plus 22 would be what? 143 plus c equals 0. And if I add these up, I get what? Negative 22. So c is equal to negative 22. Let's see if that makes sense. So that would give me an equation of x squared. Get my big fat head away from all this. X squared minus 13x plus, oops, excuse me. Just using my pencil now. Minus 22 equals 0. So this would be ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And I get x and x multiply to negative 22 and add up to negative 3. That doesn't work. So let's go back and see where we made our mistake. We skipped steps and we made a mistake. See, sometimes I like to go back and check because I can't multiply to negative 22 that adds up to 13. Okay, it just doesn't work. So when I come back here and I look at my work here, I say, okay, this is negative 22 plus c equals 0. Well, wouldn't I bring this over here and check? And I go, oh, c is really equal to positive 22. Oh, positive 22. Positive 22. And if I'm doing that, I'm saying, oh, then that's minus 2 and minus 11. Right? Because negative 2 times negative 11 is positive 22, and those add up 13. So my two roots are x equals 2 and x equals 11. I hope my big fat head is not in the way here. There it is. I'll try to move my big fat head before I see that one, before you do that one. All right. X equals negative 2 is one of the roots, so we're going to replace it. So 2 parentheses squared minus 8 times parentheses plus c equals 0. I'm going to plug this in. So negative 2. Be careful with negatives. Negative 2 squared is positive 4 times 2 is 8 plus 16 plus c equals 0. Maybe I should slow down on this. 24 plus c equals 0. So in this case, c is equal to negative 24. All right, so I'm going to check my work just because I want to. So I get 2x squared minus 8x plus 24 equals 0. Let's see if I can get a root of negative 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the GCF. 2x squared minus 4x plus 12 equals 0. Now here, look what I just did. Brain fart. I got negative 24 and I'm checking and I put positive 24 in there. I'm like, why is this not going to work? This should be negative. And this should be negative. See, this is what happens when you go to bed late. It's 11 o'clock. It's like crazy time. So this factors to x minus 6, x plus 2 equals 0. So my two roots are x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. And there's my negative 2 root. So looks like it worked. All right, kids, as before, you need to copy these notes down and then do these 20 questions. All right? And this is the other part of your midterm work week. Yay! When you're done, you can turn it into me anytime you like. But don't turn it into me if you're Mrs. Acker's student because I don't want it. And if you're Mrs. Noom's students, I really don't want it. I just want my stuff. All right, kids, hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed spending time with you. Hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Boy, it would be great to get all of Mrs. Newman's kids and all of Mrs. Acker's kids hitting subscribe. Man, add like 100 subscribers. That would push me over the 1,500 subscribers mark, and I'd be so excited. I'd be like, oh, my hair might grow back. That ain't going to happen. All right, kids, been fun. It's been real, but it hasn't been real fun. Bye. Have fun storming the castle. Princess Bride, look it up.